Hello everyone and welcome to another Transformers Masterpiece review. Today I'm taking a nice early look at the Masterpiece Mp-21 Bumblebee. Huge thanks to Paul from Sirtoys for hooking me up with this. This of course is an early test shot, so it is subject to change, but wow, what a little beauty. Now, first impressions of this guy, as soon as I got him out of the box, I thought, he's really small. I mean, let's just bring in a couple of the other Masterpiece cars for a size comparison. Here he is with Wheeljack and Lambo, and I mean, yes, it's to scale, it is. Volkswagen Beetle is a very small car, and it's going to be tinier than these, but wow, he is really small. Taking a look around him, you can see he is really nicely designed. It's just, there's just something about him that doesn't quite tick all the boxes for me, and that may be just because this is obviously a test shot and there are various bits missing, like the pin here hasn't been pushed all the way through, and when it is pushed all the way through there's going to be two holes either side there, which I'm assuming you're going to get a set of wing mirrors like we did for Lambo. The paint applications aren't exactly perfect on that. They're very much like they were with that Lambo test shot I had a year or so ago, where they're not quite evenly spread. But all in all, it does look fantastic. It's a fantastic looking Volkswagen Beetle. Now I know there have been other versions of this. There was Toy World done their B, which was very nice, but very anime. There was also the Art Feather. They done their kind of reshelled classic Bumblebee, and again that looked very good, but it didn't quite scale. If you're a scale junkie like myself, I think this is going to tick a lot of your boxes. Excuse the extreme close-up here, but one thing in particular that really made me happy was just the attention to detail that Takara put into something. I mean, just look at the little VW logo on the middle of those rims. I think that's fantastic. And again, if we go over to the top of the bonnet there, we've got that lovely VW logo on there as well. You can also see all of the defects. They're obviously their silver wheels, which are painted black. I would have liked rubber tyres. Just because third parties are giving us rubber tyres now, you'd think maybe Takara might add them to their Masterpiece line as well, but I suppose it's all to do with cost. I've also got a section here which plugs in, pull that out and that can plug into the underside here. That's where there's going to be a number plate. I'm assuming that they're going to give us printed number plates or sticker sheet at least to add to this. But all in all, that's a fantastic VW. Now, a lot of the pictures I've seen of Bumblebee have the back wheel stored on the back section, and which is absolutely fine. I mean, it's doable, but I think personally it's designed to be stored underneath here, because where you plug it in underneath here, it houses the pistol which comes with Bumblebee, and of course as soon as we take out the weapon here, there's nothing actually holding the pistol in, so it will just drop out. So obviously we can have this stored on the back here. You want to remove this small black license plate section, and we're going to pop that into the back of the wheel, like so. And then you can come around here and you can plug this into the now ever-present hole and pop that in like so, which it does look good. It looks really nice. Obviously VWs were designed to have them stored under the front there so you can get the winch and lower it down, but unfortunately now that we've stored that there, the gun will not stay in there, and I'm kind of left with a gun just sitting there. Obviously the downside to not having an official product and having these test shots is I don't get all those glorious accessories that come with it. You get Daniel in his exosuit, you get the coin, you get the alternative faces. So if you can get this at retail, I do recommend you pre-order yours now. Another nice touch that Takara have included with this B is the ability to flip the Autobot logo over on what will form the chest piece, which is actually the roof of the B. Unfortunately, the only way to do this, you push down and you apply pressure like so, but you can't do it whilst the vehicle is in vehicle mode. The clearance issues are really tight, so to allow you to change it, you have to get in part transform, which is very simple anyway. It's just a matter of pulling the leg sections out, but it's just a slight annoyance. I would have liked to have been able to do this without having to transform him. Speaking of transformations, let's get him changed into his robot mode and see how good he looks. Step 1 for transformation is pretty much the same with every single Bumblebee in existence. Just come under here, and you want to just slightly pull down these door sections, and they're going to untab from the underside of the windows, just plugged in just here. and you can see they are attached to those legs. They're attached quite securely there. Just unpeg them like so, and unpeg this side like so. That's what holds everything so neatly on that undercarriage. Whilst these legs are still bent, you can rotate them upwards and then pull them back, fully extending those knee joints, and just apply pressure on the back there and you'll peg those in. You can now come around to the front of the car, just apply pressure and pull those apart, and this now allows you to rotate the leg section up like so, and do that on this side, making sure that this peg, it does tend to peg itself back in again. So just rotate that up like so. Now come round to the foot, lay the wheel flat underneath, come round to the door panel, and that rotates once on a hinge there, and it rotates twice, and there's a small tab here, and you bend this section in and it plugs in just there out of the way. Come around to this back section, applying pressure on the inside of the wheel there and on the hinge, just pop this section out like so. That's going to free up these arms. You can then unplug those from the corner of the spoiler section like so, and just pull that out of the way. So again on this side, unplug from the corner of the spoiler and pull that out of the way. Now that that section's freed up, you can pull these arm sections down to the side and they sit in just like so. And as you can see, these were actually holding this section together. So now that you've moved them down, this section automatically wants to come back and over. And as you pull that down, you see how the head moves? Now one piece of the transformation I think is incredibly impressive. You want to rock this section here, and that rotates back. You then want to fold the front of the bonnet up and under. Then what it does, it slots in under here and it slides itself up into the actual torso shell there and hides that out of the way. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Now essentially all we've got to do is peg this black peg here into this back section here, but of course this rear bumper section is in the way. So with the head still slightly tilted forward, you want to rotate this back section round to allow for clearance. You can now fold this section down and hinge it under, and with this section rotated around, now we bring this peg down and it pegs in there and it hides up all these side sections on these wheels. So move that down and push that in like so, and that forms his backpack. One of the final steps, we can just flip the fists out like so. You can then grab this light bar section, which would be the signalling lights, I think, or indicators we call them in the UK, and extend it on a swivel hinge and bring that around like so. You can then rotate the arms accordingly. There we go. Unero Masterpiece Bumblebee. Something I have noticed, slightly backwards step for Takara. They've actually, it looked like they should have had a pin originally through the fingers there, but maybe they were just too small, and instead the fists are now a fixed section. One fixed piece. Which also has completely gotten rid of the need for any pegs coming off the gun, so the gun can now just push straight in and make a secure connection with his hand. And because I like my Bumblebee to have an Autobot logo, we're just going to apply pressure on the bottom there, push that in, and you can see that tab now, and now we can flick that round. And there we go. There is one Autobot Masterpiece Mp-21 Bumblebee. Now, I'm not going to lie, I am extremely impressed. His vehicle mode is very, very tiny. The bot mode is actually pretty impressive. He's got a great amount of articulation. He looks the part. I mean, this is G1 cartoon accurate Bumblebee as much as I'm going to get. It's fantastic. It looks absolutely incredible. Taking a look all the way around him, you can see he's really well proportioned. The backpack section, if we get him straight, it covers up all the innards there. Everything transforms really, really nicely. It's a really smooth transition for the transformation. Now, don't get me wrong, the transformation isn't amazing. I think it was Alex Loden commented on Facebook that the transformation itself has actually been used on some of the customs a few years back for the shell formers that people made. And it's basically identical. So they haven't gone above and beyond with the transformation, but what they have done is made it work, and made it work seamlessly, and it looks absolutely stunning. Now, when you get the official product, you'll be able to change out the faceplate. I initially thought you had to unscrew the back section there, but I don't believe you have to. If you just tilt his head backwards, come under the chin, and just pry that off slightly, and you can then get your nail behind the top section, pull, 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 and it basically just comes free like so, leaving with evil skeleton face B. And it's just 2 pegs here, and that slot just on top there. So you put your new face on, and boom, there you go. Here he is with some of his G1 Masterpiece brethren, and doesn't he look fab? Really, really great. Now let's cover Bumblebee's articulation. He has a dual swivel head. It's not a ball joint, so it can rotate left and right, and there's also a single point of looking up and looking down. That's a fairly good downward motion. You can kind of look down to Spike and Daniel and say, hey, you're Spike and Daniel. The shoulders have a small swivel that goes up, but only goes up as far as so, then it's hindered by the chest section here. But the actual shoulder joints themselves are on a ball joint, and they can go up, and if you rotate them round, you can get a ridiculous range. You can go over his head and say, hey boys, that sort of thing. If that's your cup of tea. He also has a bend at the elbow. It's a nice deep bend, a little over 90 degrees there, and there is a swivel within the upper bicep, again in that ball jointed shoulder. And of course, like I said earlier on, the hands are actually fixed. There is no pin on those hands. There is no wrist swivel either, only monkey wrist, so we can go in and out. That's a little of a shame, isn't it? It's not a selling point for me, the wrist swivel, but it does come in handy when you're cracking out some really nice poses. He does have a waist swivel. There's no ab crunch or anything on these guys. He's got a nice ball jointed thighs, and again that can go out. So he's got a great sitting pose there, and it's got a fair range, doesn't really get hindered by the shell at all. He's got a really nice bend at the knee. There is a thigh swivel, but no actual knee swivel. And then he's got these silly good. It's forward rocking and back rocking isn't brilliant, but the actual side pivots for these to get him in some really nice standing poses are fantastic. I mean, that's a great range of movement there. One thing I don't like about him though is look how hollow those arms are. I would like some way of kind of hiding that. I know that's the recess for his hands to go in once he's being transformed, but it's just rather off-putting. It's just very, very visible. I mean, the back here, they've all folded up the back door sections there, and it hides up all the back sections on the legs, but that's very, very visible. Maybe if they could have done something with this back section here, like they did with, like Bad Cube have done with their Brawny. So you pull apart the gas canister and it fills in those sections there. I mean, that could have been an option, surely. Anyway guys, thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this early look at Bumblebee. If you have any questions at all, just put a comment in the description below there and I will try and answer them all. Also, please go over to my Facebook page and check it out. It's Benscollectables. Again, I'll put a link on there, and I've got a full gallery of Bumblebee. So if you want any more size comparisons or any more photos, just ask and I'll stick those on there for you. Until next time, thanks again for watching. From myself, an Mp-21 Bumblebee, goodbye.